Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United Transfer News Daily, sponsored by Unibet. And if this isn't enough transfer news for you, remember you can get all the latest updates on the Unibet vlog. They've got some really good writers on there, constantly updating about all the latest transfer news and breaking news. The link's in the video description for that, so get over there and have a look. But first of all, let's start off with... Well, remember last night. Let me just remember this from last night. I was talking about the RW theory, which I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. But let's start off with Bruno Fernandes, because everybody seems to want to know what the latest is with him. There's talk of private jets, as I said last night, which is a load of nonsense. There's fake pictures of him. And there is, but the big story, I suppose, is what we had yesterday afternoon. Sky Sports breaking news that we're in for him. Validation, momentum. We want to see some momentum. I feel that he will sign for Manchester United by the end of next week, which is fine. You know, I'd like him to be on the plane for Sunday. I don't think we're going to get it done that quick, but as long as he joins up with us on the tour and embeds himself into the team, that's absolutely great. But the latest from Portugal was that Fernandes' agent was flying into England yesterday. There was no deal done. Italian reports were saying that we completed a deal with Fernandes. That's apparently not true, and he will be back in training today with Sporting Lisbon. They're back for pre-season training today, so expect some developments around Bruno Fernandes today. I'm sure we will. But look, if his agent is in the UK, they did mention Spurs and Liverpool again, so I don't know. Look, Manchester United are front runners for this. Don't fall off the horse. Get over the finish line. Get the deal done for Bruno Fernandes. Let's keep our eyes and ears peeled, because I'm sure we're going to hear something in the next 24 to 48 hours. But as you can see, 3 players I want to talk about on there as well. There's a little bit of a mix here. I mean, the RW theory is the right wing theory, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But let's just update you on some, I suppose, bad things. Dembele gone to Spurs. Rabiot gone to Juventus. Their targets. João Felix, Atletico Madrid. Some people quite liked him. So a lot of targets are disappearing by the wayside now. Tielemans is apparently going to sign for Leicester very, very soon. Potentially by the weekend. That would be another player gone off the agenda. Lozano has, according to Italian sources, has agreed personal terms with Napoli. This has been rumoured all summer. He's agreed personal terms with Napoli, and they've just got to sort the fee out, and he will be going there. So that's another right-wing option gone. James Rodriguez is going to Napoli as well. Expect that to be confirmed around the back end of July. That's again coming out of Italian sources. So Napoli are doing quite well. Does that mean they're going to sell Koulibaly? They've also bought Manolas for 35 million. I think Napoli's outlay, with Manolas at 35 million, Lozano's going to be about 40 million. James Rodriguez, you know, they're going to spend upwards of 100 million. Now, they are going to sell players as well. I don't know the Italian market as well as I know the Premier League, but maybe there is an avenue there. But you know what? With Koulibaly, as I said last night, I bet we get Harry Maguire and Koulibaly goes to PSG because we want to go for the slightly cheaper player. Interesting, though. Interesting what's happening. There's a lot. This is what's happening. The transfer window is moving. And it was never just Manchester United's transfer window. And maybe we could have moved a little bit quicker, but other clubs are making moves for their own interests. You know, Napoli have got to rebuild. Spurs have got to rebuild. United need to rebuild. So we need, you know, the options are thinning out when it comes to right wingers. We spoke about Nicola Pepe last night. Juventus are after Paul Pogba, apparently. But no, they have been linked to him for a long time. Pogba was in New York signing Juventus tops and Manchester United tops on his meet and greet. So look, could Pogba go back to Juventus? He's going to go to Juventus or Real Madrid if he leaves. And there's a story yesterday that Manchester United have been offered Dybala and Matuidi and Alexandro. Now, if that was 2 years ago, I'd be like, wow, the tables have turned. Because Pogba for Dybala, Alexandro and Matuidi, even a year ago, I would have said, do it. But now I'm saying no. I don't know what do you feel about it? Get in the live comments. Get in the comments below. What do you feel about it? Because Dybala's 25 and a very, very good player, but I'd worry about his consistency in the Premier League. I really would worry about his consistency. He's not a David Silva. He's not a Sergio Aguero. He's not got that movement across the ground over the first 5 yards. He is a bit inconsistent, but, you know, he could be a good sayer. I just don't feel Solskjaer would want Dybala. Alexandro, again, touching 30. Last year I would have took him, but Luke Shaw's developed into a very good left back now. Why would you want Alexandro? It doesn't fit in as a long-term sort of, you know, Kieran Tierney would work well because he's young and they could fight it out. But Alexandro, he'd need to play. Luke Shaw drops. It doesn't make sense. And Matuidi, again, I can't remember how old Matuidi is, but I think he is a lot older than I thought. And again, where's the longevity in that? So Juventus can offer up these players that they don't want anymore. I can't see it. If Juventus want to give us players, they're going to have to give us players that they don't want to give us. The Bernardeschi's, the Bentankas, who's a midfielder. Bernardeschi's a winger. Play at Ronaldo. But I just don't see him going to Juventus anyway. So I think it's an irrelevance. But I'm sure Juventus would offer us those players because Dybala is at a sort of halfway house now. Do they want him? Is there a place for him now? I don't think there is. So they would like to offload him. But I wouldn't take any of those players. Not that I think they're bad players. I just don't think they fit in with this vision of exciting development. Those players don't fit in with that. A player that does, and a colleague of Hirving Lozano, who is going to go to Napoli, Steven Bergwijn. He is a player that 100% I think he will leave PSV this summer, and it's very interesting to see where he's going to go. Now, I just think Bergwijn's got Spurs written all over him, and if Spurs sign him, it's another fantastic signing. They'll get him for about £30 million. He's only 21. I've been very, very impressed with him, what I've seen. I don't watch the Dutch League of much, but from what I've seen of him, I thought he played very well in the Nations League for Holland. And I think he's a very, very, very good player in a very exciting Dutch side. He's strong as well for a winger. He's strong. He's got a good shot on him. I think he would fit into the Premier League very, very well. But I can see him going to Spurs. And then Spurs with then Dembele adding depth to their midfield. Maybe Lo Celso as well, a wide player. A brand new stadium, Pochettino, the squad they already have. Spurs are strengthening. Spurs are proper strengthening if they go and get a player like him and Lo Celso with Dembele. So United should be looking at Steven Bergwijn. We were heavily linked to him actually in the January transfer window. So look, could it be a Lindelof? Remember Lindelof? We all thought we were going to sign him in the January. We didn't. Oh, we're not getting him, and then we got him in the summer. Will United look at a player like Bergwijn? Because he fits the model. He fits the model. In some ways, I would rather get Lozano because I like Lozano. But in some ways, Bergwijn, yeah, he can be better. He's younger. He's more explosive in relation to his pace and I think he'd be a very good. And he's shooting, and he definitely fits in with what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants, which is that player who's at a club, who's shown talent, who will be in awe of coming to Manchester United because it's a step up, and they've got plenty left in the tank to grow and develop. So he's the perfect option for Manchester United in many ways. Absolutely the perfect option. But whether we'd go for him or not, I don't know. And I'll bring in the RW theory there. So my RW theory, it's not a Game of Thrones thing, as I said last night. My right wing theory, RW, I'm sure most of you figured that one out. If not, you need to go and support Arsenal because you're not all there. But yeah, my right wing theory is that we won't get a right winger. I feel that United, we've spent 50 million on Wan-Bissaka, 15 million pounds on Daniel James. Let's say another 55 million to 60 million on Bruno Fernandes. That takes us up to about 120 million. Then you've got Harry Maguire, which is probably going to be around 70 million. That takes you up to 190. Sean Langstaff, just over 200 million. I think United have got 200 million pounds to spend. And I think we'll get two midfielders, Longstaff and Fernandes. Centre back will be Maguire. Wan-Bissaka the right back. Daniel James the sort of utility winger. 200 million pounds spent, and I think that's what United have got to spend, and I think that will be it. So I don't think we'll get a right winger. I don't think we should have 250 million to spend, but I don't think we have. I think we've got 200 million pounds to spend. And for anybody who says, well, if Lukaku goes, we will buy probably a striker, maybe a Ben Yedder. I don't think we'll get a right winger with that money. And if Pogba goes, we will use the money to replace Pogba. I don't think we're going to get a right winger. And I think there's plenty of right wingers out there, like Steven Bergwijn, but I don't think we're going to get one because I think our money has been spent elsewhere. And maybe the right winger, like a lot of people think, it's a theory that the right winger we haven't got the money for. We're going to wait till next year and try and get Sancho. But that will be difficult because I think Real Madrid and Barcelona will want different players next year, and they might go for him, and then it will be a very, very difficult thing for us to do. But yeah, I don't think we will get a right winger, if I'm totally honest with you. And that's just my theory about it. And but we'll have to wait and see. I think how we approach this transfer window, if we've 200 million is a lot of money to spend as well. 200 million is a lot of money to spend, and you've got to make decisions. And I just don't think we will sign a right winger, unfortunately. But there we go. With regards to Harry Maguire, there was stuff coming out yesterday that United have retracted from Harry Maguire because of they've had the £70 million bid refused, which we did put in. We did put a £70 million bid in, so it's not like speculation, it's the Diop and everything like that. We did bid for Harry Maguire, so we do want Harry Maguire, and I think we will go back for Harry Maguire. But apparently he wants to leave as well. He's on holiday at the moment, but he wants to leave. He's going to leave. I mean, look, he might go to Man City, but if Leicester have refused us 70 million, Man City are going to have to go above 70 million, and I don't think they will. So I do think Maguire will end up at Manchester United. I really, really think that's going to happen. With regards to Tielemans, I think he will end up at Leicester. I do. I think that's where he's going to go. There was something yesterday from Christophe Terrer, who is a very good Belgian journalist, and obviously Tielemans is Belgian. He's been very accurate about Fellaini in the past and Lukaku, and he said that with regards to Tielemans, Tielemans knows that Solskjaer likes him, and if there is an indication from Manchester United that they want him, because they can give European football, and that's important to continent players, even though it's Europa League, continent players, not incontinent. Tielemans doesn't piss himself. He's from the continent. He was basically saying that Tielemans would probably go to United over Leicester, but United have got to show that interest. But he did mention in it that Solskjaer likes him. So, but I think United will snooze on Tielemans. I think Tielemans is about Tielemans. I just think United want Fernandes and Longstaff, and that's what it is. And Tielemans would only come into the equation if Pogba leaves, and Pogba leaving, we might know by the weekend, and maybe that's what Tielemans is waiting for. Because if Pogba comes in and puts a transfer request in, United will have to act quick. Whether we'd get Harry Maguire if we sign Tielemans as well, political transfers, it's always been like that. Leicester probably would sell us Harry Maguire, but if we take Tielemans, they'll probably go up yours. We want 90 million. So there's lots of things that are going to go on with that. But anyway, look, you've had your right wing theory. You've had the discussion about Pogba. Fernandes hopefully will get something today. I really like Steven Bergwijn, by the way. How do you feel about Harry Maguire, Steven Bergwijn, Tielemans? What do you think is going on there? Do you agree with my right wing theory? Do you think we've got more than £200 million to spend, actually? That's the very important question. Because Wan-Bissaka, Daniel James, Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, that takes you up to just under 200 million anyway. Then you get Sean Longstaff, and maybe that's why we're looking at Longstaff, because we need another midfielder, and he's going to be quite cheap with potential. If we went and bought a Thomas Partey, you're up to 250, and you still haven't got your right winger. I just think United have got £200 million to spend, and they're having to sacrifice not getting a right winger and also bring in quite a cheap midfielder with Bruno Fernandes. But what are your thoughts? Get them in below. Remember the Unibet vlog. Go and give it a watch. Go and give it a read. Links in the video description. Unibet vlog, all the latest breaking news and transfer news stories on there. Really good writers. Even I put articles up on there if you've not seen that from yesterday. The links in the video description. Thanks everybody for watching. Smash a like, subscribe, and I will see you at 8 o'clock tonight. But we may well see you before if there is some breaking news. I've got a funny feeling there will be today. Thanks everybody for watching. Check out the link in the video description.